I'd like to start this story with saying Psalms 91. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare, and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be a shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you make the Most High your dwelling, even the Lord who is my refuge, then no harm will befall you, no disaster will come near your tent, for He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you do not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread upon the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue Him. I will protect Him, for He acknowledges my name. He will call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will be with him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy and show him my salvation. So this story is very difficult for me to talk about. It happened like last year around this time. The anniversary of it happening is actually coming up, and I lost my engagement ring and my Moldavite ring, which I got my Moldavite ring back, but I did not receive my engagement ring back. Last year, in March, I was given the opportunity through my school, Bridgewater State University, to teach for a study tour at a school in Dominican Republic. Through this, I met my friend, I thought was my friend, Callie, who was my roommate. The study tour was very difficult for me. I went through a lot of emotional upheavals, but she was there for me throughout the whole struggles that I had, and I felt like I could trust her. When we got back from the trip in March, she proposed that we go again, this time being able to do the things we want, because the first time we went, we were on a very tight schedule and we weren't able to, see the sights or do any excursions. So she wanted to go in July again. When she first asked, I agreed, but then I felt like it was not the best thing to do after the fact because I left my job. Due to stuff that were going on in the last story time that I mentioned. So I made the financially irresponsible decision of buying the ticket through credit and having my husband help with some of the cost. I made this decision after the card got declined, and I said I probably shouldn't do this, but she kept peer pressuring me to buy the ticket, and that's when I made the financially responsible decision. My two sisters ended up joining us on the trip as well. At first, I was not really happy about this, but then I realized it was actually a good thing to have them on the trip. I had a girls' trip before, so I was actually really excited and nervous about this. I've only heard good things before this trip about girls' trips. I got there and I did not have that much cash. I really didn't. I just was not financially ready to be in this trip. And she got annoyed at me after I ran out of money because during our study tour, our teachers made it very highlighted that we had to always tip wherever we went. We always had to leave some kind of money. So when I ran out of money, she was really annoyed with me about this. This was probably the first red flag that I should have noticed, but I didn't. It would be technically the second because the peer pressuring of getting the tickets, even though I couldn't afford it, would have been the first. This is not the best part, but before the trip happened, she told me that she was going to go meet with a student that she had taught during our study tour. And because I had so much things going on with my in-laws, which I'll mention in another story time, I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't think anything of it until we got there, because I was kicked out of the room for the first night so she could sleep with the student. And then the second night, I woke up to them sleeping together while I'm in the room sleeping. I didn't mention in my post, but I really would like to mention the room assignment was very weird. So my sisters, they had a double, both of them had their own bed. Me and Callie had a double as well, but she also had her student staying with us as well. And then her friend, Jill, also had a double, but she did not want anyone to sleep with her in that room. So the next day, I went to meet with my sisters the day that I woke up to them sleeping together. I went to have like a meal with my sisters at a restaurant down the street, and she reached out to me through text and said that a staff had came into the room and said that a towel was missing, and that if we didn't find the towel, we'd be charged. So she messaged me saying that she was gonna go through my stuff, which I did not feel comfortable with because I had important stuff in there, and she just went through it. And after she told me that, I immediately went back to the house, to our hotel room, and checked my bag to see like, hey, was anything missing. I did not think that she would take my engagement rings, so I just checked it and then went back, but still felt uneasy with her looking through my stuff without my permission. Later that day, we went scuba diving, which I've never gone scuba diving before, and we also were on a boat, and I got sick during that time. The part of the story that is a trigger warning, and I will put that up on the screen. If you want to know the rest, like, just skip like this part because it's very triggering. She decided to kiss and lead on the driver, and the driver took that as an opportunity to stop the car, and he essayed me. And then she forced her friend to also get essayed by the driver because she said, since we did something, you have to as well. So that was not okay for either of us, and we had a conversation about this after the fact at the pool. And her friend had mentioned a very triggering, traumatic story to us during the time we were in the pool, which I was very uncomfortable with, but this is her story. But I'm not going to go into detail about what she mentioned to us at the pool. I'm just going to say that this essay happened to both of us in the car on the way back from our scuba diving boat trip. Very scary situation, as I didn't know where I was, and it was just scary. I told my sisters about what happened, and they took me in to stay the rest of the time there. She had checked my stuff upon moving to my sister's room. I noticed some jewelry missing, my Moldavite ring and my engagement ring. I took them off because I was going to go scuba diving and I didn't want to lose them. I asked Callie to meet after this, after I realized that my stuff were missing, but she wouldn't meet with me until after the trip. In her words, she did not want to ruin the trip, so she met with me after the fact. She did meet with me. She gave me back the Moldavite ring and said that it was in her friend's room, which I never went into her friend's room during the time I was on this trip at all. Like, her friend's room was just not an area that we could, like, she just didn't allow anyone to go into her room. Sadly, this is where I lost the engagement ring, and there's other things that happened, but I want to shout out to her friend for apologizing to me after the fact, because she told me that this is something that she does, that she doesn't respect people's relationship, and this indicates to me that this was not a first-time occurrence, that this may have happened before. What she did was very predatory because she slept with a student who we taught at during our study tour, and she's becoming a teacher. So this is kind of scary that she's able to become a teacher but able to do predatory actions towards students. Doesn't matter where it is in the world, it still happened. Lessons that I learned through this trip is, do not go on international trips with people who you do not know. If you can't afford it, do not go. Pay attention to the red flags, and not everybody has your best interest in mind. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope you get some kind of something out of it.